they would.
Would you please stand and salute the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Welcome to the meeting. Let's go. Bye. From
Community resilience.
from Grove Smart. Oh, and you're off. And then you would like, you like to be there or?
I don't know, where would you like to, what's the best, there, it's a there.
Yeah.
Why don't you hook yourself to the?
Okay.
I will do that.
Well, that's the television isn't displaying the computer screen. The computer Zoom meeting is running down there on the computer and the camera's aimed at us, so it is recording us.
Good.
It's just that the television is not hooked up correctly to the computer.
And while you get the floor, Christian, let folks know for the public record what happened with the recording.
So I assume that either somehow there was something with the last select board meeting that whether it didn't record correctly on Zoom or something, but there was something up with the recording and getting it posted to YouTube. So, I'm not sure what.
So we're gonna, because we don't have a recording, we're gonna double, triple scrutinize our meeting minutes to make sure.
Yeah. That they're accurate, yes, so. All right,
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for having me here. My name is Harold Redderson, and as you mentioned, I work for Grove Smart Maine, which is actually, my boss is actually Nancy Smith, and she's a previous resident, actually. And I'm here to talk about the Community Resilience Partnership. Maybe some of you have heard of it from before. It is a state program that is intended to help municipalities, let's say, mitigate the effects of climate change in terms of flooding, for example, adopting ordinances, for example. It can be useful. It can be electrification projects, like, for example, heat pumps for municipal buildings. It's really a very broad set of action that this program will support the municipality in implementing. By enrolling in this Community Resilience Partnership, the town or the municipality is eligible to apply for something called the Community Action Grant, that's kind of the carrot here, which is up to 50,000 for the implementation of a project. If the town goes together with another town who is also enrolled and kind of has a joint project, there's 125,000. So there's a 25,000 extra if you kind of work together with another town in a joint project. I guess they would like to see several towns working together in this program. Grove Smart Maine's role here is really like a service provider, like providing assistance, because a lot of towns doesn't necessarily have a staff member who can, let's say, do the work and kind of enroll the town, because there is some administrative work and there are certain kind of steps that has to be taken in order to enroll in the partnership. The good thing here, there is no match required from the towns up to that 50,000, for example. There is no, as long as it is kind of within the scope of this program, there is no funding needed from the town. There is, of course, the time commitment, and I'll say a little bit what kind of that commitment entails, but there is a time commitment, obviously, from the town. And I would say, like, a little bit of enthusiasm commitment, like people have to be interested in doing this for it to be meaningful. So what this entails in terms of the steps is that there is a kind of a self-assessment of that the town conducts. It's basically like a survey or a questionnaire for the town saying, for example, does the town have, an emergency plan in case there is, extreme heat or extreme cold for vulnerable residents, for example? Is there shelter, for example, in those situations where there may be food storage for a certain period of time, where there are showers, for example? So there's like, is there an emergency plan for the town, etc. So it's basically a series of questions that the town then answers, and there's no like right or wrong. It's basically an assessment of how prepared, in a sense, is the town in responding to various issues and to plan for various issues, I would say. The second thing is to have a community meeting or a community, I'd say it's a community workshop, and that is something where basically we'll, announce this broadly to the town newsletter, public places, etc. Have a community workshop, maybe in a place like this, where we invite basically it's open to all community residents, where we look at that questionnaire, that kind of self-assessment, so that in a sense the community agrees with what the town has said is the responses. And then prioritize from that list, okay, what does the town want to do? What are the priority projects or the priority issues that the town would want to address? That really, it can be from like social vulnerability issues, it could be infrastructure issues, maybe you want to do a survey of, or like a study of particularly vulnerable infrastructure to flooding, for example. I mean, that's pretty relevant topic right now. A lot of towns are dealing with flooding and wanting to change culverts and so on. Of course, you don't get a lot of culverts for 50,000 here, but you do probably get some of the planning studies done, engineering studies done, that will kind of give you a baseline for going to Maine DOT, for example, and apply for some of their funding that would pay for a culvert or some road improvements, etc. So I think it can be used in combination with other types of funding sources. So that's the workshop. That's kind of to make sure that the community is really, these are priorities that comes from the community and communities on board with it. And then the final step is basically to adopt a resolution that the town, yes, wants to join the partnership. Once enrolled, then you can apply for this funding. So, and then there are 2 rounds every year of funding through this program. So there's an opportunity to apply twice a year for this funding. I think there are about 150 towns now across Maine that have enrolled already. This program started, I think, in 2020. So, new towns keeps being included. I just finished, I live in Mount Vernon. I worked with the town of Mount Vernon and just kind of helped them with their process. So that means I sat with, they don't have a town manager there, so I sat with somebody from the select board, kind of went through the questionnaire, helped them find some of the different information for that questionnaire. I organized the workshop, the community workshop, made sure it was widely publicized, kind of with the posters, etc. And help produce the report from that workshop, the priorities, etc. And kind of submitted all this to GOPIF, who is the state, which is the Governor's Office for Policy, Innovation, and the Future, GOPIF, great publication. So anyway, so I will then, in my role in this process would be to kind of, in a sense, guide the community through this process and to help develop the grant application. And again, at no cost to the town. I think, yeah, and I just finished, as I said, I worked with Mount Vernon, and I just finished also with the town of Vienna. I'm also now talking to the town of Wayne as well, as possibly working with them for this next cycle for this program, which is coming up right now. So to work with them to enroll them in the program too. So I don't know. So that's really it. I'm here to answer questions. It's maybe sound complicated. It's not very complicated. It's a grant opportunity. It's an also opportunity for the community to come together and kind of look at some of these flooding issues, heat, cold, etc., vulnerable population, and kind of think a little bit strategically and forward thinking about some of these issues. A lot of towns are responding to, crisis after crisis, so it's an opportunity to think a bit ahead. So I think that's an added value beyond just the money that you would be eligible to apply for. And I think I'll stop there. In your folder, or I saw in the documents, there is kind of like a more detailed timeline. It's really just a draft, but it kind of shows you the step in the process that I would suggest that the towns follow. And that we did in Montfort and Wyoming as well. So there's also additional information. I'll stop there and please questions. So yes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How many grants are awarded per cycle?
So I think there's about two 4 million in the state budget for this. I'll have to double check exactly how many grants. I think also if towns that have not applied before, who have just enrolled, are given priority, so that at least like as the first time enrollee, you have a much higher chance of getting the grant funding. Because obviously this is also an incentive to get more towns involved in this as well. Yeah. So it's hard for me to say exactly how many, but it has been at least, it's a fairly straightforward process to apply for this grant. It's not a very complicated grant application.
Is there enough time for us to get in for this March deadline?
No.
So that's the biggest question. I think we were trying to push the process through to get in for the March deadline. And so
I've had a conversation with a number of folks, including the town of Winthrop
yes,
and the
because
town
I saw
manager.
your name, the paper in the KJ.
And we think as long as we're working diligently here to be the committee of reference for our application, i.e. we're not appointing a separate ad hoc committee.
Yes,
So as long as we continue as the
that's
select
the
board,
point. People, we can get the
we
paperwork.
think we've got a path to being able to submit an application. One of the advantages that the projects that we are considering is a collaboration with the town of Winthrop. And the town of Winthrop is already fairly far along on their process, so we would sort of be leapfrogging with them.
But are you enrolled though? Because we've been enrolled.
So one of the items on our agenda is to adopt some municipal resolution language. So if you're here tonight for that part of the meeting, that'll be the first step of enrolling. And we may be one of those municipalities that's simultaneously submitting our project proposal along with the enrollment application on the same March 29th day. But
okay.
Although, you said something very interesting to me, because there's a second round of awards that will happen later on September. Yeah. And of course, that's going to be much more competitive because at that time, all the enrolled municipalities will be vying for the sum of money, the pot of money. The project that we have in mind is, we're
The same one Winthrop has.
the project that we have in mind in collaboration with the town of Winthrop is probably going to be multiple phases. And so there could be, depending on what the engineering guides us to do, a second need for applying for additional funding that would solve a very significant problem. So it may be that we could use a consultant such as yourself in the fall round, if you're not available for the March.
Yeah, yes, yes, and yes. I think as long as you are aware of the criteria for the enrollment, that, you know, if you can do a community meeting between now and then, and like have that process and meet those requirements. Absolutely should be, and you already have like a fairly good idea what you want to do. I think that should probably then be possible.
So one of the aces up our sleeves is not only do we have a fairly good idea of what we want to do and a fairly vocal constituency that wants to see it done. We have also set aside some seed money in our current fiscal year for some preliminary engineering that would seems like it would be accomplished before the March 29 deadline for submission. So we're confident that we can pull this off, at least for the first tranche of funding.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm back to you.
On these, on this sheet.
Yeah.
That, it says, to enroll, you need to complete a pair of self-assessment.
Yes.
Why a pair?
So one of them is the survey kind of thing. The other one is a list of activities in a sense, and 72
There he was. At the top.
activities, and it's like has the town already conducted this? What is in progress? What is not relevant for the town member? What have they already completed? So it's a way to kind of get an analysis of where you are in terms of
Did you see the
let's say climate resilience preparedness in a sense. And that then will kind of inform what types of projects you want to go for in the future. The other one is basically the survey itself. So you need to just don't do those two. You need to submit that when you enroll. You need to submit those documents.
What is the other one beside it? There's this community resilient self-evaluation.
Yeah.
So it's that this 5-page. It's page whatever it is.
Yes.
And
and
is
it's,
it all encompassing or is there something else in addition? to
and then
this?
there's one more in addition to
I'd
that.
be interested in that.
And that's called a list of community actions. It's an Excel sheet. It's kind of not very user friendly. But it kind of points out, as I said, there's about 72 actions.
Okay, yeah,
thank
we
you.
have that.
Yeah, it might be there.
The list of community actions.
What can we do in the future?
Just want to make sure we're familiar with
Yeah.
with these
Is
items.
that something we do? Or when they have?
Yeah, but you submit that when you enroll, you submit that. You submit that together with your workshop report and your and that.
And then, of course, there's the other section, which is the engineering and the actual project description. That would be a separate piece of the application.
And you're already on this. Doing it. Then there's the community workshop.
That's what this is.
Well, we're gonna have,
What's that?
we are gonna have, we could call this the community workshop, or we could simply come back and have another conversation about it at our next meeting. If folks are comfortable, we are prepared to make a motion for some resolution language tonight. And as long as we're on record, having passed a resolution that meets the criteria of the application, And that'll be the first step. For example, Winthrop, town of Winthrop, this town council passed a similar municipal resolution, a few nights ago. So we would be on track and parallel with the town of Winthrop, where they seem to think that, the project that we have in mind is their highest priority as well.
You have that language, because I asked about language and what we were gonna be
Okay.
making motions from, and I didn't have any of that, so.
So when we get to, agenda item number 3 in a public hearing, where we, take any public comments on, what we might do with the community resilience partnership, at the end of that public hearing, I would make a motion that would satisfy the requirements of the application, so the town of Monmouth can enroll, and that would be step 1. And keep us on track.
Okay, anything else? Any other questions?
Thank you. Thank you.
So do you want to go into the public?
Sure.
You would need, have a motion.
Yeah, actually, I think we do.
I make a motion that we go into the public hearing for the community resilience partnership.
I'll second.
Chris has made a motion, Jen seconded to go into the public hearing.
And I think we might have a couple of folks here in the audience that might want to make a few statements regarding the project that's in mind, and giving some direction how that money might be. Elevator speech.
Similar to what we discussed in Winthrop 2 nights ago, Coventry Watershed District is proposing that the town of Monmouth join with the town of Winthrop in applying for a community resilience partnership grant to address dam improvement, that's the Martin County Dam on Annabessco Lake. The project means climate action goal to become more resilient to climate change effects, including extreme weather flooding. And we've talked at past meetings about weather and flooding. Sorry, we talked about the inability to release water quickly from the Annabessco Dam and the flooding that's been caused. You've seen the photos, so I think everybody understands the problem. And as Harold mentioned, that by both towns going in together, that's $125,000 grant as opposed to $50,000 for Monmouth, and that we're recommending that there be a dive inspection of the dam, generate a thorough condition report of the dam, and then an engineering study to evaluate what size gate or gates to be installed. In consultation with the Maine State Dam Inspector, we recommend a bottom opening gate be installed at the dam. In my latest conversation with him, we've also talked about keeping the board system in place, which would be good for summer water level control, and the gate for the quick release. We can go into those details later, but such an engineering report is necessary to decide just what you want to do, what will achieve the flood control goals that you want, and hydraulic logic and hydraulic analysis. So all this planning is what would be the first priority for use of the grant money, and then there'll be needed money. We don't know how much. That's what this engineering study would come up with. How much would it cost to implement this? So, you know, whatever, there might be some money left over towards implementation, but more money would be needed. So then would that be a second grant to the partnership or not? I don't know, but this is the first step. And as we talked about in Winthrop, well, it's going to need to be done. So do you want to start it with grant money or do you want to start it with money out of your own budget? So this we're proposing to go for a grant for it. Seems to be a good fit, and both towns have worked together on trying to maintain the dam in the past when there's been significant need to. And the Winthrop Council, the Monmouth Select Board, the Monmouth Town Manager, Winthrop Town Manager, they all seem poised to work together well. And obviously Watershed District will certainly give you guidance and the background information on the problem and information to put into the grant regarding that. And then there's some other community support for this. There's some people here and the Good Lake Improvement Association members could attest to. So it'd be great to not miss this opportunity to try to get started fixing this problem, because it's going to get worse.
Are there any further comments?
I just appreciate Wendy as being the representative from CWD for all the member towns, and how lucky we are to have that staffs locally provide information for all of us. And I think they should be saluted for that.
Thank you. We worked on several projects with Monmouth. Dr. Logan, treatment projects. So I'm kind of excited about working together on this one.
I do have a letter to read if you all want to hear me recite it. I'll be happy to. All right. So I'm Carol Branning. I'm the president of the Anabassa Lake Improvement Association. And I can make my way over here. So I'm just going to go with Alia because it's a mouthful otherwise. So Alia is in support of efforts to move towards the goal of modifying the Martin Hovey Dam on Anabassa Lake to increase outflow capacity and to mitigate high water on the lake. We recognize that this has been an ongoing problem that has worsened with weather changes over the past few years. We recognize that this is a problem of the structure of the dam and discharge capacity and not a problem of management of the dam. Alia has heard from many residents, both Monmouth and Winthrop, who own lakefront property, along with those who enjoy the benefits of this beautiful asset to the towns. They are concerned with the impact of increasing lake levels on the shorefront, on property values, and the impact of those levels on the health of the lake. If the medium and long-term weather patterns continue the trend of becoming more extreme, exactly what is predicted in the coming decades, would the Anabassa Dam and its limited capacity to release floodwater become a hazardous dam in worst-case weather scenarios? And you know what we mean by this is we've seen that we can't release water, and we've also seen that water can't flow over fast enough to decrease the height of the lake. The boards can be removed, and we saw water go around the structure of the dam on both sides. And to me, that's like an accident waiting to happen, that dam might collapse. And I'm just saying that from my perspective. I'm not an engineer, but it seems to make sense to me that that could undermine the entire dam. So we support and encourage the town of Monmouth to take immediate steps towards researching and implementing effective solutions to address this ongoing and increasingly urgent issue. Additionally, we support and encourage the town of Winthrop, which we did on Monday night, to join with Monmouth in a community resilience partnership grant application for the dam project. This funding is needed to address what changes will be necessary to alleviate destructive flooding on Anabassa Lake and ensure the safety of the dam, our downstream neighbors, and neighboring communities. Thank you.
So it's come to my attention, Mr. Chair, we didn't actually vote on the motion for opening the public hearing. So maybe we should dispose of that formality. Now you can repeat yourself.
But you know, in this thing.
I wish I could take credit.
Parliamentary.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I do have, unless there's more, discussion, I do have a motion to make that would satisfy the first step of our application for enrollment in the Community Resilience Partnership Program. Any other? Okay, so, here's my motion. Whereas the town of Monmouth has completed the Community Resilience Partnership Community Resilience Self-Assessment and List of Community Actions, and held a community workshop expected on our next select board meeting. So our workshop will be held on our next meeting. And has prioritized the following action areas. And then this, as an aside here, this dam action project would fall under strategy area G, assessing climate vulnerability of infrastructure. And so we're talking about action number G2 on the list of 72 potential action items that would qualify for this grant. So G2 should be the action area. Be it resolved that the town of Monmouth commits to participating in the Community Resilience Partnership, which supports community leadership in reducing greenhouse gas emissions, increasing resiliency to extreme weather and climate change impacts. Be it further resolved, the town of Monmouth designates the town manager to coordinate planning, implementation, and monitoring of energy and resilience projects, and to be the primary point of contact to the Community Resilience Partnership. I should also amend that by saying the select board will operate as the newly established committee for overseeing. That's my motion.
Okay.
And you're gonna give that to me, Ken, right? So I can put that all in.
There you go.
I'll second that motion, but I want you to repeat what you said.
We're gonna be here a long time. So, Jen has made one, and Chris has seconded it, and,
I want you to repeat it now.
all those in favor?
Mr. Burgess.
I am going to abstain. My computer is a little glitchy and I can't say that I heard all the details. So I'm going to abstain from this vote, but I think you got what you need.
Okay.
I'll put the select board will be the committee. Sure.
Step one.
So in summary, so we're on the thing, you satisfied the adopting the resolution, and before the next meeting, self-evaluation filled out so that we can have the resolution will be presented at the public hearing.
So that reminds me, I should make one more motion just for the record. We're appointing the town manager as kind of the point person for this project. And he asked that I make a motion that he present a rough draft of the application to enroll at our next meeting and the community, what they call it, the community workshop. So the community workshop will happen at our next meeting. And I make a motion that we ask the town manager to present a rough draft of the application at that time.
I'll second that.
And that will be. With the standards that we need to.
At the end of the community meeting, we can adopt application based on the rough draft and whatever feedback that we received from the community during that. During that. meeting.
Okay, it was made motion. And Chris has seconded it, yeah. And, all those in favor? I'm not favor.
I will vote yes on this one.
Okay.
Yes.
Mark Curtis.
Is there anything else we did? Where- it's all-
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we done with this topic?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We've opened, this is our third meeting on this.
No, they have to stay. It's a penalty, you have to stay.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it wasn't freezing rain, we probably would. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye. How are you, Sue?
I'm fine.
Good.
Why?
How many years have you been with TWD?
Oh, I started when I was 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say, she's.
And it's been 48 years. I don't know how that happened. Here we are.
We know how.
How long was Bill been there?
Since October of 1992, so I guess that's.
I wanted to get started.
Almost 32 years.
Council.
He was also. Is there other term limits?
For me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Well, up to the chair.
Okay, approve the minutes of December 27th, any more of that?
You had some edits?
I just had the edits for spelling and logging road and Lowell lumber.
Knowles.
Not that's all I saw, but unless somebody else. No. Oh, good.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes from the, which one?
27.
December 27th meeting
And
and the January 10th. Simultaneous motion.
I'll second that.
So the motion by Deb, second by Chris, to approve both minutes, all those in favor?
Close mark.
We lost Mark.
Last one. You threw that. You got frustrated.
He was sitting outside, so I don't want to see him sitting outside, so. Yeah, like, you're sitting outside, you're walking outside. I'm not sitting outside tonight, so. I know.
But you want to- I just presented you with some paperwork on some figures, from last year, 23, to close out the year. First page just shows breakdown by day, an hour of the day of the type, the number of calls that we received during those specific days and hours. Then the second report just breaks down those 4,073 calls that we handled last year. How many calls of each type we handled, the percentage of time that was spent handling, like extra patrol radar, 848 calls for service, and that consumed 20.82% of our total workforce for that allotment. Just interesting information. Just I didn't do the breakdown in the graph at this point because my computer was not cooperating. So this is what I could get out of the computer today for you. Yeah.
As I'm looking at the total. Out of 4,000 total calls for the entire year, I see 1,383 are related to traffic stop, so basically a third.
Yep.
And I'm assuming most of that is speed related stuff, not necessarily.
Yeah, and it could be a citizen complaint on speeding motor vehicles or.
But the interesting part is when you look at the hour by hour breakdown, you know, the 7 to 8 o'clock hour when everybody's going to work.
Yeah.
And then the 2 o'clock, 2 to 3 o'clock hour when kids get out of school and mom and dad are picking them up. And then the 5 to 6 o'clock hour when people are coming home. That's when.
You see the spikes.
Yeah,
You can relate it to the activities.
exactly. Yeah.
Also, if you'll look at, on page 3, under traffic stops, 1,383 traffic stops, which is different from the extra patrol or radars, because that 848 you see on extra patrol radars may be a citizen complaint. They want speeding enforcement on a certain road, or they account for us sitting in the school zone every morning and every afternoon enforcing the school zones, whereas on page 3, the traffic violation stops are actually the physical stops of motor vehicles on the road. And then you see traffic violations right above it, 103 traffic violations, citations issued. So, I think we use good judgment as far as the ratio of summonses issued or needing to be issued versus warnings issued. Any questions on that?
Thank you.
I know this sometimes can be cumbersome, but I think it's important to you guys to know what we're actually doing out there on a day-to-day basis, or in this case, yearly basis.
Well, and I think it's important for the citizens, these are the people that call us when there's a problem or perceived problem, that they know that their tax dollars are being spent on what they've asked it to be spent on.
Correct.
So it seems to me like the data that you're presenting is showing that the priorities are kind of what the community is after.
Also, I wasn't here the 10th when my budget was to be talked about.
We said no to
Yeah, we sliced it.
Well, that's why I'm here tonight. It doesn't pay to be sick, it's all. I just wanted to bring one section of my upcoming budget to your attention. That was on the reserve line. There was like a 24% increase in that line, and I just wanted to explain the reasoning behind that high percentage. when Zach goes to the academy, we're gonna need to have those reserves to fill those shifts on the weekends, so that's why you see a little bit more of a spike in that than you did last year, because of that, those shifts covered, so.
When is it we go back to 24-hour coverage?
We haven't gone away from it right now, because, Zach didn't make it into the January academy, so he's going in the August academy.
Okay.
So it's gonna be coming out of 25, 24, 25 budget, not the 23, 24 budget.
Okay.
So that's why we're still at doing the 24-hour coverage right now until August, and then in the new budget, we're gonna need the reserve money to pay for the open shifts. But we will be going back to our old schedule where we go in at 2:30 and we come back out at 6. So there'll be some call time there for the 18-week season in the academy. So I just wanted to clarify that in case there were any questions. That was the big spike in the budget, 24% in just that one line, so.
Which line was that? Overtime wages?
Reserve,
Oh, reserve.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't see 24%. Unless it's you updated it from this one that I have. That was as of 12/7/23. I don't even see where it says reserve.
it should say wages part-time.
Oh,
It's
wage
line-
part-time.
Like
Okay,
line 70-20.
all right, that's 65%. So,
Yeah, we jumped from, about 22,000, if I remember right, up to
Yes.
about 36,000.
36,
Yeah.
yes.
Now, keep in mind that in that line also pays for Donna's position, which is 20,000 a year.
Yes, and that's what it says, admin 20, custodian 4, so.
Yeah, and then the other 19, the other, 13,500 is for the reserve line.
Okay. Yeah. Don't use words that aren't in here, because you will just confuse me.
I apologize.
It's easy to do. Perfect.
Questions?
I have a question. You use the classic college for parents.
Columbia Classic, yes.
Yeah, is their business security?
The thing with Columbia is, we're not having to run the cars to Auburn to get work done. They're local. I trust his work, and that says everything right there.
And it squeezes us in.
Yeah, we don't have to wait.
It squeezes-
Some of the other issues we have, if I want an oil change or a brake job, and I gotta wait 2-3 weeks to get it done, so realistically, you gotta take that car out of service until you can get the brake job done. We just can't have that, and Roy will fit us in over there, every time when we call up, and we need that day, he's got us fit into his schedule, so.
And court doesn't.
No, of course, the same way, I've got a car in Winthrop that's dead in the garage, they can't fit us until the 29th of the month, you know, so. And it's a recall, it's not a recall issue, it's a warranty issue, so I don't wanna send it to Roy, it's the warranty issue. And we made the appointment last week, so we're talking 2.5 weeks before they'll even look at it.
It's a high-grade problem.
As a matter of fact,
You heard about that?
in the middle of the night, and your blue lights just start going off for no reason, you know, and then you wake up in the morning, you got dead battery.
Note to self.
Yes.
They'll never do anything.
Now we gotta make sure police cars run on their support.
Yes.
Was it a robbery at the North Monmouth post office, robbery or
Burglary,
okay,
yes.
then there was a subsequent.
South Paris, the same night, was hit as well. And it was there have been arrests made. It was the same crew that did the two robberies of the postal vans down Wilson. Any other questions? No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Select board report.
I have, a couple new offerings for dates for the, walkthrough. Our, in March, our, architect is available Tuesday, March 5th, or Monday, March 11th. Mark, are you back? Are you still gone?
I will still be gone at that point.
Oh, gee.
Sorry.
I'm gonna vote for March 11th.
Okay, I will send Paul an email and see if that still works for him, and then we'll firm up the time. I assume we probably do it in the morning or something, and I'll make sure that we can get into the building, and that there's a path shuttle or something, so we can walk in, because obviously if it snows, you don't want to be crawling over some things, but I'll make sure that. So, I'll send that email out and confirm that with him, and then I'll send out, an email, to Justin with the time, and then we can disseminate it, however we need to disseminate it and post it that it's happening, so. Our primary, oh, okay, so we don't wanna be up here that same day. 'Cause that's the other thing, we need to make sure that this area is plowed out enough to support parking, not just a squawk through the middle. So, that's definitely
What date was that? The presidential?
primary, the,
March 5th.
okay. So that, well, we're just trying to get it so people could see it before we have a deadline to try to develop a warrant for it. Cause that was,
It's the matter of urgency. Let folks have a chance to take a look at the progress so far firsthand.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about the warrant article for the additional matching from.
that's all I have.
By the way, the primary that's on March 5th will be the first one where registered independents will get to choose which primary they want to vote. And we'll be voting also on. That would be oversized, and I'm sure people know what's going on. I'm sure we can tell.
That was a big question for you. Is the Winthrop Advertiser, the community advertiser, defunct? Is it?
No, he's on vacation.
He's
on vacation.
okay, because I haven't gotten one for months. It's been a long time since like Christmas.
Go down to one.
What's that?
Go to my
I can see Mark. Middle, okay.
Because of advertising and Facebook. People, advertise their business on Facebook for nothing. And so the revenue, whether and they keep charging you more and more for printing. $600. Yeah, printed it. Modern world. Yeah, print media.
But there's the country code, which still is coming, so you can still put information in there. I don't know what that place is.
Anything else? On to public comment. Okay, to consider the 2024 PSAP agreements.
Isn't that you as well? Or is this
T25. Really?
2025, is this
Or is
2025?
this calendar year?
I'm sorry, I missed the.
Wait.
So, we're talking about the 2024 PSAP agreement with Amstrad and,
Yes.
what's this one?
24 or 25?
Yeah, it's, cause we had the first one we signed carried us over into January. Just the preliminary one, and now this should be I think it's 3-year contract with coming up. No, you heard it.
Chris, can I ask what PSAP is?
Public safety answering point. Amberstone County provides our 911 service. Answering service.
What is it again? What's the-
Public safety answering point.
Okay, so.
I make a motion, we approve the 2024 PSAP agreement with Androscoggin County.
Yes, I'm thinking it. So, Chris made a motion and Joe has seconded it to the PSAP agreement with Davidson County. For next.
This one here, looking at this, it's a 24, the contract for 24, but I was under the understanding that when we signed it, the new one this year is gonna be a 3-year contract. With
The last one was 3 years. It was Linda signed it.
But that was with Somerset. Not English, but I thought this one here, when I talked to the director, that they were gonna do a 3-year contract, so. I haven't seen it, so I'm just going on what I need to do.
Okay. Also, all those in favor of PSAP agreement with Amstrad County?
I vote yes.
Mark says yes.
Mark says yes.
Consider the sale of certain unused public works equipment.
So the story here is when, the, old shop equipment was removed from the Public Works building. It was 3-phase and the 3-phase converter was left behind in the building. So the person that purchased it would like to be able to use it and have the 3-phase converter. And he believes the person he is going to hire to remove it, the certified electrician, is the person that installed it to begin with. So Andy Baker bought that equipment and he would like to remove that 3-phase converter from Public Works to be able to install the 3-phase converter. So he can use the equipment. And if you are interested in knowing who his certified electrician is, it's his neighbor to his immediate right, and that is Doug West. So
And it's not gonna cost the town.
not gonna cost the town anything, and it should have been, you know, part of the
original.
package. Yes,
And do we have any need for 3-phase power?
I don't think
At
we have
town, right?
anything.
You had it.
It's already direct,
It's already-
it's already
That was
there.
to convert it back down to
Yeah.
220.
Yeah.
Oh, so it goes from 3 to 2.
Yeah, yes, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
So we have no need for two-phase power at Public Works.
Everything that's two-phase is 220, and it's, it's
Yeah.
normal, everyday household use.
Okay. I make a motion that we make the sale of certain unused Public Works equipment as Chris described.
I have a question. Have we already sold?
Yes, we've already sold
And
that.
why
So
do we
this won't,
consider this-
it won't be a sale. I think it'll be a $0 sale that he provides the electrician to remove it. It won't cost the town anything, and he is having it removed to go with what he's already paid.
You want me to make a specific motion?
I don't know if we're moving the house location.
He is. He
Yeah,
can't, he can't use the equipment.
yeah,
So
It
this
should
is
say-
yeah.
So I withdraw my motion. I make a new motion that we authorize the removal of the three-phase converter that supports the other equipment that we've already sold
At no cost.
at no cost to the town.
Okay, second.
So, Ken's made a motion, Joe has seconded it. Allow the removal of all the, three-phase equipment instead of their inverter, the Public Works, all those in favor.
Vote yes,
Yes.
Mark, say yes.
yes.
You know, that we got a memo from Justin saying that, our contract with EcoMaine, and I don't know if this is necessarily premature, because we're not doing our public works budget for a couple of more meetings. But we got this thing from, the UC, that I didn't understand how, actually, that EcoMaine is saying that it isn't exactly all as it seems as far as the big discrepancy between what we said to EcoMaine and we said to Mid-Maine Waste.
So, ACR is the average commodity revenue. Right? So when they go to sell, what this is talking about is when they go to sell the cardboard and the metal and the whatever, that they can put on the market. They earn some revenue, and as a, I don't know what our status is, might be an associate member, we get some share of that back. It's a rebate back. Our tipping fees are $106 per ton. At MWAC, they're 42-ish. And what I'm understanding this chart to say is that there is a certain rebate of which we get 80% paid back to us. But it's not super clear if this is a dollar per ton amount based on this chart, or whether it's a dollar amount. That's very different. So we might ask for some clarification from them. What I also noted from the memo is that we have until 2026 to actually figure that out, because we're locked into a contract with them up until 2026.
Yeah, and we have to give them a 90-day notice if we're gonna get out and don't want to resign the contract.
Sure.
Or it's immediate re-up. So.
Right. So if we don't give them 90 days notice, then we've automatically renewed. It's like Netflix.
Yeah.
So,
It's like those tapes, those cassette tapes that you signed up for, they keep on.
Because we, they don't warn you that we're, or they don't tell you, we haven't made it.
well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could instruct the town manager to give them 90 days notice right now. And then we'll figure out in 2026 whether we're gonna actually keep the plug or pull it permanently. I'm happy to actually make that motion if you'd like. We can ask the town manager to send them a notice letter. I make a motion that we ask the town manager to send them a 90-day notice letter now for the contract that automatically renews in 2026. And at that point, we can decide whether we want to renew the contract, not automatically, or whether we will part ways and shake hands.
We must have to remember to do that in 2025.
I'm sure they will tell us. If they
Never know.
So what that would essentially do, Doug, is nullify the automatic renewal clause in their contract. If we instruct the town manager to notify them right now. Because I agree, seems a little
Yeah,
slippery that it's an automatic renewal clause that got lost. We lost track of it. They're probably kind of counting on us losing track of it. And so they got us.
Okay. So,
I'll second that motion.
so.
I got the motion, you don't have to repeat it.
So, that one, you got that?
Yep.
And Ken, Chris, second. So that, all those in favor of, Ken's.
There we go.
To eco meeting.
No.
Sorry.
I vote yes.
And I'm making notes of what we need to follow. To Justin, to tell him what, so,
So, on to the warrant.
yeah, and I printed that off and highlighted them so hopefully I can read these numbers. Blue Rock Earthworks, $2,564 for Auburn and Portland trips. Columbia Classic Cars, Great Repair, $1,293.75. Cougar Mountain Software, that's web-based software, I assume, not for the town office. I'm not 100% sure, but it's web-based software anyway. $7,911. Baby and Oil, $1,067.52. Brimmel Industries Waste Disposal Demo Removal, $1,961.22. Jim Hopkins Excavation, this is what we voted last time to approve for the sewer line repair here. $2,600.39. Monmouth Sanitary District, this is a total of all the town's sewer fees, $1,705. Nickerson and O'Day, this was the November billing cycle for the academy renovations. $61,908.24. Northeast Emergency Apparatus, this is for a fire pump. $24,690.71. Quirk Auto, this is the check engine light fix for the public works vehicle. $2,434.14. RSU 2, $516,459. This is, I'm having trouble reading. $516,459.57. That's what it is. The State of Maine Bureau of Motor Vehicles, $12,415.26. That's it, for a grand total of the warrant totals $644,325.22.
I make a motion to approve warrant number 15 for fiscal year 2024.
Okay, made motion. Trevor second. Warrant line 15 for It's been reported before, all those in favor.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll make the motion for you, right? Second. All those in favor?